The knock on the front door surprised me. First of all, it sounded timid, uncertain. Second, it was on a Sunday, and it wasn't even 8 o'clock in the morning yet. And third, everyone I pleased already had a key to the apartment. Strange. But it could have been important, and so I opened the door. Stunned doesn't come close to describing my reaction to the thin, pretty blonde standing on the porch. "Hi, James." Maddie. Beautiful, brilliant, vivacious Maddie. My ex-wife, Maddie. I hated Maddie. My heart rate increased, but I tried to hold it in. "Maddie, I never expected to see you ever again." "I know you didn't, but we need to talk. We should have talked a long time ago." "How did you find me?" "I followed you from your mother's house. I remembered you usually go there on Monday nights. It wasn't easy for me to decide to knock on your door." She smiled, but it was a weak smile. She seemed unsure, which wasn't like her at all, but at the same time, definitely determined. "Can I come in?" "What do you want, Maddie?" "Please, James, give me 5 minutes and then I'll leave." I sighed dramatically, which was always the limit of my resistance to Maddie's demands. I closed the door and followed her into the living room. She seemed agitated, unusually agitated, and I was in no mood to bail her out. "So what do you want?" Maddie's big blue eyes roamed the room quickly, but there were very few clues. The apartment was new, and the bedrooms, bathrooms, kitchen, and office were the priority, so personal belongings were still in boxes. She glanced meaningfully at the couch, but, uninvited, chose to remain standing. She turned to face me. "Would you offer tea? Coffee?" "You're not a guest, Maddie. Say what you want to say." "What's up, James?" "Really?" I chuckled. "Why do you care?" "I love you, James. I always have." "Is that why you've always slept with Tom?" It was Maddie's turn to sigh. "You know why? He was the first guy I ever loved. He was my first lover. We have a very special bond. And you didn't think you should have shared that information with me before we got married?" I didn't think I still had feelings for him. He went into the army. I hadn't seen or heard from him in 14 months. And I fell in love with you. And yet you slept with him every time he came back to town. A few weeks before we got married. And for the 3 years we were married. God, Maddie, you never gave up on him, even when you swore allegiance to me. It was all a fact. The detectives had it all figured out in the divorce settlement. At least she had the decency to look at the floor. "What do you want, Maddie?" "I want my husband back, to rebuild our family." "Ex-husband, and I'm not coming back. You burned down our family, Maddie." "I didn't want a divorce. You left us. And then you wouldn't talk to me. I've been trying to talk to you for 2 years. I have nothing to say to you. And you have nothing I want to hear. You wanted Tom. Take advantage." "I wanted to be with you. I just wanted him too now and then." "I don't play that game. You didn't get to choose between us, so I did." At those words, Maddie's eyes glistened with tears. I don't claim to understand her, but the relationship she wanted would have killed me if I'd said yes. It was all leading up to this. "Your baby needs you, James." Blood rushed to my head. My ears throbbed and I could barely think. "Beth's not mine. Tom knocked you up. It came out at the custody hearing." "I feel like we could find a solution together. So you can see Beth. I know you love her so much. But I'm not talking about Beth. We have a son. I named him Jimmy." I didn't think the roaring in my head could get any louder, but it did. I don't know how I managed to stay on my feet because I don't remember anything about the next few minutes. My mind just went somewhere else to digest this new blow. When it came back, I laughed bitterly. "I've seen this show before, Maddie. We're having a baby. Oh, James, you're going to be the best daddy ever." Only it was Tom's baby, not mine. "But it's true. I didn't know I was pregnant when you served me with divorce papers. And when I didn't get my period, I thought it was stress. And when I realized I was pregnant, we had already signed everything, and Tom and I were making plans for the future. So what part of your plan for the future brought you here? I'm here because I love you. Bullshit. Your attitude towards me demonstrated that. Her tears burst out and rolled down her cheeks. They seemed sincere, but with Maddie, you couldn't be really sure. Jimmy needs his father, and Beth misses you terribly. So do I. Beth wasn't even 2 years old when we broke up. She was away from me longer than she was with me. And you've been able to find me any time since I moved out. What's really going on, Maddie? She lowered her eyes again, and tears rolled down from her long lashes. Tom left. A couple months ago. I don't know where he is, but he said he's not coming back. Ever. Why? Maddie hesitated. He couldn't accept the fact that Jimmy was your son. I couldn't help myself. I smiled wickedly. Oh, well. Then you made a bad choice. Please, James, I'm begging you. I love you. The kids love you. We're supposed to be a family. We belong together. This is serious. Who is listed as the father on Jimmy's birth certificate? Maddie sobbed, then squeezed out quietly. Tom. Yeah. Then it looks like you're looking for your husband in the wrong place. No, please, James. I really love you. You're the only husband I want, the only one I've ever wanted. I swear it. Maddie's face contorted in agony, and she breathed heavily as she cried, deep regret evident in her sobs. I fought myself not to reach out with a comforting hand. She just looked lost, pathetic. Gone was the dynamo I had fallen in love with, replaced by this sad and desperate waif. I felt my heart begin to break for her pain, but somehow I didn't have any pain of my own. I was saved by the sound of a key in the front door lock. I turned around in relief, and a smile of anticipation appeared on my face. And indeed, as day replaced night, the door swung open to reveal a slender, dark-haired vision in yoga pants and a puffy jacket holding a bag of baked goods and a cardboard tray with 2 paper cups with lids. You're home, I said, smiling broadly. Sally answered me with a dazzling smile, but then she saw Maddie and looked at me puzzled. Honey, it's Maddie. The realization came, and Sally's lips pressed firmly together and then curled into a cold smile, a smile that didn't touch her expressive dark eyes at all. Hello, Maddie. I've heard a lot about you. Maddie, this is Sally, my wife. I wasn't supposed to take pleasure in Maddie's misery. Her eyes widened, then turned into slits. She could only nod, sobs shaking her body. She rushed past us, leaving the door open. I carefully closed the door behind her. Are you okay, sweetie? Sally stared intently into my eyes and lightly touched my cheek with her hand. Honestly, I was a little scared. I knew I would see her again someday, but I never imagined anything like this. What did she want? Reconciliation. Tom ran away and she claims I'm the father of her son. Oh no, James. Can it be true? It could be. When it became clear she wasn't going to give up Tom, I quickly finalized the divorce. We had some money and I gave her whatever she wanted to get her to sign. It's quite possible she was pregnant without knowing it. What are you going to do if that's true? I took the tray and bag from Sally and set them on the kitchen island. I unbuttoned her puffy jacket and hung it in the hall closet, then hugged her. I kissed Sally, caressing her soft lips with mine. What we are going to do is what we always do, my love. Do the right thing. You taught me that. If I'm this boy's father, Maddie and I will find the best way to support him. But it'll be within the confines of our marriage. You and me. I'm never going back to her. She smiled and disappeared into me. Sally was my rock after Maddie's betrayal. At first I was hopeless, prickly, suspicious, pouncing at the slightest provocation, real or imagined. Sally accepted my wounds and showed me daily that I could trust her with all my thoughts and feelings. She showed me that I was worthy, that I could truly be loved. Relying on Sally's kindness, her patience, and her determined love in the face of my most destructive urges, together we created a passionate, lasting partnership. I love this woman so much. Besides, I said, running my hands over the baby bulge that had been visible for a couple weeks now, we have something of our own that will soon demand our full attention. Sally gave me another of her loving smiles. Speaking of which, your baby and I are very hungry. Where did you put the scones and tea? We laughed, and holding hands together, we headed for the kitchen.